What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic. And today, we gonna break down and recap today's game versus the Indianapolis Colts. But there's not really much to break down or recap. The Texans fall to the Colts 20-14. And, you know, what can I say? This offense ain't shit without DeShaun Watson. This offense isn't shit without DeShaun Watson. We knew that before. I mean, we knew that as soon as the injury happened, but it's clear. That defense, that Colts defense right there, really, 14 points. 7 of them came from the defense. The other touchdown came at the end of the game. You had a chance to, now you did have a chance to win it, but Tom Savage turned to Tom Savage at the end of the game and got strip sacked. Now, due to Jelon Davenport did get beat. But that's, you know, you trade away your left tackle, Dwayne Brown. Even though I fully agree and understand that Dwayne Brown's whole motive of the holdout and everything, and that he wanted to get traded. He didn't want to be here because he didn't want to be under Bob McNair. So him and Bob McNair had that rub, and he didn't want to be here anymore. I completely understand that. So I do understand the reason for you trading him. But I'm gonna put it to you like this: if Colin Kaepernick isn't signed to this team, Bob McNair needs to consider selling the team, because he's more focused and worried about politics than winning actual football games. Because seeing the offense that I just seen, you cannot run Deshaun Watson's offense with Tom Savage. You see how slow that offense is? Even when they were playing up tempo and hurry up, they were still moving slow. That offense just moves so slow under Tom Savage. You don't have a quality offensive line to protect Savage, to keep Savage in the pocket, so you need to be getting outside the pocket. You need somebody mobile. Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick has a decent arm. You need to have Colin Kaepernick in this type of offense to run the same similar offense that DeShaun Watson was running, because you just have to. And now, because DeShaun Watson's not there, even if you lose football games, newsflash, it doesn't benefit you because you don't have your first or your second round pick. So even if you tank and go 3-13, it don't benefit you. You help Cleveland out. You give Cleveland another top 5 pick. Because the way it's looking, Cleveland gonna have the #1 overall pick because they trash, and then they're gonna have probably the 3rd overall pick because the way this team looking, I don't see them winning no more games. I'm sorry, but watching that game remind me so much of last year when I wasn't even interested in the game no more. Like, the game was watching me more than I was watching it. I was more looking on my phone, looking through my fantasy, you know, checking Twitter, checking Facebook, checking Instagram. I was doing more of that than actually watching the game because of how just trash the game looked. It had no intrigue. I mean, when we got the fumble return for a touchdown, okay, that was good. After that, there was no more intrigue. The defense didn't give up big plays to T.Y. Hilton. But outside that, the defense did its job for the most part of the game. Outside of those 2 plays that they gave up to T.Y., they pretty much did their job enough to keep the Texans in the game. The Texans came back. You got the touchdown to Hopkins, and you had enough time to win the game. You had enough time to come back and get that touchdown at the end of the game. It just not see. I don't see what you can do with Savage. I'm sorry. Savage is not that guy. Savage is, like I said in videos earlier, that he's a prototypical backup. Your guy gets hurt for a game or 2. You got to step him in. Okay, yeah, all right. But he's not no long-term answer. And the way this offense was so dominant from DeShaun Watson, maybe we were spoiled from seeing DeShaun Watson's offense and seeing DeShaun Watson's point spread. Let me think about this. 5 straight games, 30 or more points. This time, this game here, 14. a touchdown if it came from the defense. Now I know defense scored some touchdowns early against the Colts. Against the Browns and the Titans and the Patriots. But you still had DeShaun Watson throwing 4 touchdowns. Against the Patriots, 2 touchdowns. Against the Titans, 4 touchdowns and ran for 1. Against the Chiefs, 5 touchdowns. Against the Browns, 3 touchdowns. Last week, threw 4 touchdowns. So he still had 5 games where he's throwing multiple touchdowns in a game. That's the reason why he has 19 through 7.5. Through 6.5 games. And Tom Savage can't even put up a point. It's the same offense with both Will Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins scoring multiple touchdowns a game. They were coming into the week, they had tied for the lead in touchdowns. Now Hopkins might continue to be the league leader in touchdowns because he did score one day. He has 8. So hopefully he continues to be the league leader in touchdowns. But you went from your offense, Will Fuller today had 32 yards. With DeShaun Watson, he gets 39 yards by himself on 1 catch. He's had a 59-yard touchdown, a 39-yard touchdown, a 29-yard touchdown on 3 different games. Not to mention other games. Not to mention he get other catches throughout those games too. But today he had 32 yards. 32 yards. And one of those yards came off a 29-yard play. So he is a big play threat down the field. But you can't utilize that with Tom Savage because he doesn't look off the safety. Because he can't run the read option properly and correctly. Because he's not a threat to run, you don't bring that safety down. You don't bring that 1-1 coverage. Not to mention when he did have people open, he was off target. How many balls went out of bounds? He was completely off target. Like, this offense just looked so bad and just so slow and stagnant under Tom Savage. And like I said, you need to bring in somebody to help. Now, a report came in, kind of funny. A report came in after halftime that the Texans have reconsidered and are really considering bringing in Colin Kaepernick. You think? Because I know if I'm Rick Smith and watching that first half, after halftime, I'm looking at Bob and they're like, say, bro, I know how you feel. I know you're Republican and all. I know how you feel. But we going to have to do something because this right here ain't going to work. And we don't have our first and second round picks. So even if we lose out and tank, it doesn't benefit us because we don't have a first or second round pick. So we can't fix this. We need something we're going to need something to do something. We're only 1 game back in the division. Now you're 2 games back because now Tennessee and Jacksonville both won. They're 5-3. You're 3-5. Luckily the Colts didn't have a bye week and they haven't had a bye week yet, and they've already lost their 6 games. So you're still 3rd in the division. You really should be last place. You lost 2 divisional games at home. You played 3 games in division. All 3 of them at home. You lost 2 of them. And Tom Savage was the starter for 2 of them. The 2 that you lost, Tom Savage was the starter. The 1 that you won, DeShaun Watson was the starter. I wonder how that's going to look at the end of the season because you still have 3 more divisional games and all of them on the road. But the good news of today, the best news of the day, is that did y'all see DeShaun Watson out there on the field, on the sideline, walking around? He just tore his ACL. He's out walking around already. Now, I would highly consider somebody getting him and packaging him up so he won't mess up nothing. But that right there shows me is that he's going to be good to go he's going to be good to go for training camp. He's going to be good to go. You still have November, December. You still have 2 months of this season left. He's going to be good to go when training camp comes. And he's going to be ready to go to start the next season. And we're going to see the same DeShaun Watson that we were seeing these past 7 games. We're going to see that same dynamic scoring machine. I know people in my comment section that I don't believe he's going to be the same. And I don't see how because they're going to do this and it take a long time to recover from ACL injury. Like it's not that severe. It's not a severe ACL tear because the way he's moving around, it's not severe. He's ready. He's going to be ready. That's the best news that came out today because watching that game was completely horrible. Tom Savage, luckily, because of that last drive, the last 2 drives, ended up with 219. But for the majority of the game, for 3.5 quarters, you had 72 yards of passing. You barely had 100 yards on offense. T.Y. Hilton had that by himself. T.Y. Hilton by himself outgained your whole entire offense. And this is what we got to look for the next 8 games. We still have a whole season, half a season left. A whole half of a season left. Not a couple games of the season, a whole half of a season left. That's what we got, a whole half to watch this mess. The Texans need to fix it. And I know by how the best way to fix it is getting rid of Matt McGowan and bringing in Colin. And start throwing him into this offense. Because you need somebody to run a similar offense to DeShaun Watson, because it's clear that the way your skills are, the way your skill position are, the way with Bruce Ellington and Hopkins and Will Fuller down the field and Braxton Miller and Lamar Miller and Deontay Foreman, that you need somebody to run read option passes, read option reads. And you can't do that with Tom Savage because it's not going to be effective. Because you see when he did run the read option and he had to pull it down, he had to get it out the pocket a little bit, how slow it looked. Like the whole offense all together looked as slow and stagnant, like it wasn't going to go anywhere. And it's not going to go anywhere. It's not. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, clicked that bell to get more videos. I holla.